Now, Japan and Australia are going to be two of a number of teams kicking off this weekend's Autumn International Series. It's all getting pretty serious now as we get into the last major competition before the end of the international rugby season, and I'm going to be following it all here on Inside Rugby with Mark. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about Japan versus Australia, have a look at the Australian team, give you my thoughts. Joe Schmidt's done a lot of juggling around with players, and you might even be surprised who's captain of this Wallabies team this weekend. So let's go and sit in the park and have a chat about it. G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. If you haven't been here before, my name is Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. And just to update you all, a lot of you are following United Rugby fans and what we're doing there. I've now set up a new YouTube channel for that program, and you can go over there and watch all the videos we're producing for United Rugby fans. So if you're interested in what we're doing in bringing the world's rugby fans together in one place, we're going to be interviewing rugby fans from across the world in terms of administrators, people that are working the game, talking about all the issues. There's going to be a series of interviews, a whole lot of new stuff happening on that channel. On this channel, I'm sticking to my reviews and previews of all the games that I follow across the world. So let's get into it. Japan, Australia, Eddie Jones against Joe Schmidt this weekend. No love lost between these two guys, that's for sure. And it's going to be a great battle in Japan. Now, Joe Schmidt has said in the last couple of weeks that he's having to juggle this team around a little bit because of the intense program they have in Europe and UK this season for their end of year tour. Quite a few injuries, of course, in the Australian camp like many other teams. So he's just having to manage the players and look forward, I think, to some of those bigger games that start next weekend against England in the UK. So what's going to happen this weekend? Well, Joe has named his team, and there's some interesting positional changes as well as an interesting captain being named for this team. So let's go through the team. We'll start off in the forwards and the front row. Well, my man is back, Angus Bell. Yes, a lot of us, David, if you're watching the video today, you'll be pleased to see Angus Bell back in this Aussie team. He'll be starting the game along with Nasser at hooker and Nongor as the other prop. So no Taniela Tupou in this game for the Wallabies. He's obviously been rested. He's got a little bit of a niggle at the moment as well, so they're resting him ahead of that England game. So that's going to be the first change up. So what do I think? Well, I think they'll get the job done against this Japanese team, but it's going to be interesting to see in particular how Nasser and Nongor go starting this game. We always know what we're going to get from Angus Bell. He's been one of the best players on the rugby fields of the world so far this year, in my opinion, and he'll continue to deliver for Australia. Don't be surprised if Angus Bell ends up scoring a try in this game for the Wallabies. Then moving on to their locks for this game, well, it's going to be Jeremy Williams, tried, proven and tested, and it's going to be Solokai Lotto, who also has been playing some damaging rugby this year, probably the best against the Lions in Australia when we saw him in a few provincial games in that series, but hasn't really shown his brilliant form again for the Wallabies jersey, but he hasn't been getting a lot of opportunities. So let's hope this weekend is the opportunity for Solokai Lotto to really come out, stamp his authority and give Joe Schmidt a bit of a headache in terms of selections going forward on this Northern Tour. And then the back three for Australia, very interesting this weekend. We've got Nick de Crepney in number 6. In number 7, we're going to see Tizano. And at the back in number 8, it's Rob Valentini. And the big surprise, probably to many people, is Nick de Crepney is going to be the captain of this Wallabies team this weekend. So there we go. A guy that hasn't pulled the jersey on too many times, and he's ended up with a captaincy. So maybe Joe Schmidt's seeing something in this young man that a lot of us think. He's got a lot of talent, no doubt about it. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on him starting his first game as the captain, the 92nd captain of the Wallabies this weekend, Nick de Crepney. So we wish him the best of luck, of course. Those other two positional changes, Tizano, we know he's strong and tough, got a lot of power, mobility. He'll be interesting to watch to see how long and how deep he can go into this game. And then Rob Valentini moving back to number 8. We usually obviously see him in the 6th jersey for the Wallabies. So let's hope he first of all gets through the game uninjured and can bring something of star power that we know that he's got to that number 8 jersey. So what do I think this forward pack is going to go for the Wallabies? Well, it's a bit untested, isn't it? And there could be some combination issues. They might be a bit rusty to start off with. and that could be what Japan needs to really get into this game. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, whether or not this pack is going to gel in the first 20 minutes or so, because I think that's Japan's greatest opportunity to at least put some pressure on these Wallabies by starting off the game really, really well. So we'll see how they go, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions after the game, of course. And then we move on to the backs, and again, some positional changes, some new guys coming in, some players being saved for those big games coming up. And we start off at halfback, and it's Jake Gordon for the Wallabies on this one. Again, some of the things that he's been doing have been very good so far this season, but I think the Wallabies are missing Tate McDermott and Nick White now that he's retired again. But let's give Jake Gordon a go, see how he goes against Japan. Outside him, number 10, it's been a problem position for the Wallabies so far this year. Tane Edmonds coming back in again, been given another opportunity. So I'm wondering how Joe Schmidt's going to deal with this as they move through the tour. It's going to be an interesting one, because I think a lot of Australia's hopes are going to be pinned on the performance of their number 10. So let's see how Edmund goes at 10. Outside him, we're going to see Hunter Paisami, and we're going to see Fluke in there as well. So 12 and 13's changed up. No Iki Tau, no Sua Ali for Australia, so a brand new combination. Paisami I like, he's been playing good rugby, and let's see how he goes back in this. He's going to have to be a bit of a mainstay for the attack, I think, of Australia, and getting this back line away. And I think Fluke can run off him pretty well outside in 13, but I think this is where the Japanese might have another chance, particularly when they're attacking, to get through this defensive system of Paisami and Fluke. I think it could be a weakness area for Australia, but I'm here to be proven wrong. We'll wait and see how that works out. And then let's have a look at the back three for Australia, and it's great to see Dylan Peach coming back in for the Wallabies. Of course, he had that broken jaw situation earlier in the season. He's coming back now. I thought he was playing really, really good rugby before he was sidelined, and it's going to be great to see him back in the jersey again. And Corey Toole's back in on the other wing, and I think he's been doing enough, or more than enough, to keep his position in this Wallabies team as well. And then at fullback, Andrew Callaway's back for the Wallabies, so that's a good one as well. They'll be happy to have a little bit more cover at fullback. They're resting Max Jorgensen obviously as well in this game, and I think this back three will be pretty good for Australia. Expect Peach to score a try in this game. I expect to see that happen. He's a very, very difficult man to stop when he's close to the line. So I have a lot of confidence in this back three. I think they can do well in this game against Japan. We have to make sure that Andrew Callaway just maintains a good kicking strategy at fullback, and also is very good in that last defensive line if Japan do some of those very quick sniping attacks that we know they're very, very good at. Okay, so that's the starting 15 for the Wallabies. What do I think about it? Well, it's a bit of a mixture, isn't it? Both in the forwards and in the backs. And this is going to be the interesting thing, to see how they actually perform on the day. I think Japan are in with a chance if they start off very early in this game, put a lot of pressure on, get some points on the board. You never know what this Wallabies team's going to do when they're under pressure. And without some of their mainstays that have been the mainstays of this team in recent weeks and months, we'll have to see how they actually perform if they get put under a bit of pressure. Okay, so moving on to the bench for the Wallabies, and what impact players have they got there? Well, their front row that's going to come on is going to be Pollard. Aidan Ross is getting his debut opportunity for the Wallabies this weekend, and the last one is Robertson in the front row. So this could be a good combination to come on, keep the pressure on, or if there's an injury early on to one of the front rowers, we'll see one of these guys coming on. And then for the other two forwards, we're going to see Canham, and we're going to see Harry Wilson on the bench. I haven't seen a lot of Canham play, heard a lot of good things about him, so this will be a good one to see him on the field when he gets an opportunity. And we all know what Harry Wilson's been doing for this Wallabies team so far this season. A great leader on the field, really seems to get this Australian team going, and he's going to be given a bit of game time towards the back end of this game, again, unless someone gets an injury, of course. Now it's a 5-3 split from Joe Schmidt, so the backs that we'll see come off the bench are Ryan Lonergan again, the halfback. Then we're going to see Stewart. I haven't seen him play at all, so that's going to be an interesting one for me. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Stewart play and what he's like. And then we're going to see Dalganu, the winger utility back, coming on as well, who's been very effective, I must say, when he's come on the field in the games that he's played so far. So there we go, that's the bench. What do I think of it? Well, again, a chance for a couple of young guys. Aidan Ross getting his debut there, Stewart coming into the team as well. Lonergan's only played a couple of games for the Wallabies, so he's getting another run off the bench. And then we've got Dalganu out wide, who can be destructive when he comes on. So I expect this bench to have some kind of an impact, and whether or not they're under any pressure towards that later part of the game, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, what do I think of Japan's chances in this game? Well, if they start off well, that's their real big chance. I think if they can get the crowd behind them, they can start putting pressure on this Australian team, which is, let's face it, not their first team. They've made some positional changes that might have a bit of an impact if they're under pressure. Australia's got to control the set pieces, do well in the scrums, win good clean ball from the line out, and I think their backs can be good enough to score some points against this Japanese team. But with Japan, it's always about heart and soul. It's about what they bring to the competition at the time. And as Eddie Jones has said during the week, he wants to make sure they're in the fight towards the end of the game. And if they can do that, then anything can happen in this game. And we all know, we've been watching rugby long enough that you never count your chickens, that's for sure, before the end of the game. But I do expect Australia to win this game. By how much, I'm not too sure when it comes to that. I think there's going to be a big importance placed on this, obviously, because of world ranking points for Australia. They don't want to slip down the chart at all. And if there was a banana skin game and Japan took this one from them, that would be really disappointing for all Wallabies fans and for Joe Schmidt and this team. So I'm expecting Australia to do what they can to not only win this game, but win it comfortably and see whether they can get over a point in terms of ranking points. And that will help them tremendously as they start this difficult Northern tour for them. Nick de Crespigny starting as the 92nd captain of the Wallabies this weekend. I hope he has a good game, and I hope he shows us all his leadership skills when he's been given this particular opportunity. Now, I'm going to be excited to watch this Japanese team throughout the Autumn International Series, so as I get to know more of their players and watch them play, I'll be talking a lot more about them in my video, so watch out for that as we go forward. Now, talking about my videos, this weekend I'm doing a 24-hour continuous live stream on my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm going to be covering 10 games, which include this game, the Japan versus Wallabies game. I'll be talking about it, giving my analysis, thoughts and input as the game is being played. Then we'll move on to the NPC final in New Zealand between Canterbury and Otago. That's been played in Christchurch on Saturday evening. I'll be giving my thoughts as that game's being played, so join me on the live chat. We can talk about that if you're watching it. And then it's into the URC games for the weekend, and I'm going to watch as many of those as I can throughout my 24-hour podcast. I'm doing this podcast to raise money for our website, for the United Rugby Fans website. The goal is $10,000 to get that website built, and the temporary website we've currently got, it's not going to be able to manage 1 million rugby fans from around the world coming on our platform. So we need to make a change, and we need to have a very professional website. Now, I've already chosen a supplier to build us that website, so they're ready to go. They're waiting for us to come up with the money. 10 grand, that's my goal. I'm going to talk about rugby for 24 hours this weekend, starting off at 7 AM in South Africa time. That's going to be 6 PM across New Zealand, 4 PM on the east coast of Australia, 2 AM in Argentina, and it's going to be 6 AM in the UK, 7 AM across France and Europe. So come on and join me in this live chat as I go 24 hours non-stop. The wife's going to keep me prepped up with tacos and quesadillas and burritos and everything else to keep me going. And I'll be there talking about the great game that I love so much. So make sure you come and join me on that one. Okay, Japan, Australia. I'm picking Australia by quite a score if they can get themselves going in this game. Let's see how it unfolds. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. And I look forward to seeing you all on my live chat during the weekend. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you again here soon on Inside Rugby with Mark. Until next time, it's time to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. See you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.